Welcome to Exodus Youth Worx on CYC. I have with me this program Marina Bichet, a graduate of social work from the University of
Western Sydney.
Western Sydney. Yeah. Now, you've come on board as a volunteer with Exodus. Now that you're finished your studies and you're a social worker, how is that coming into play and the need for professional people within something like Exodus Youth Worx? How do you see it happening?
It's a very, very important role, I have to say, to have professionals within a youth organisation. I know we've spoken about briefly in previous programs how Exodus has started and the amount of youth that have come into the organisation. And it started off as a very kind of like a very casual get-together, let's say.
Yeah. It was just it was actually coming from the church as a church service, and then it just grew into something else, more as well as a service.
It's grew and now has this incredible foundation. So I think from the youth that were being seen throughout that service, there was a definite need to I guess, in a way, to formalise the help that they were being given. And to have that is a very, very important thing, because it's not enough to just have someone. I mean, everyone's going to give the amount of care that they possibly can and the help that they can, but to have professionals in a system like Exodus is very, very important, because that helps the young person reach their full potential. And there are definitely some issues that some people just can't take over. You know, they can't. It's too out of their frame at the moment to help. You know, so it's very important to have someone come on board and say, okay, I've seen this before, which is another very important thing. And this is how I can help you, and this is the steps that we can take to make that come about.
As well as the networking you have as a social worker. Referring young people to other services that we may not have, but it may be that they need a more intense program. So you know that way, and the social workers now are, and it's very intense. We're talking, you know, you may only have 10 young people that you are totally responsible for. In other services, it's a bit higher, but we like to sort of keep it at 10 at Exodus, so that it's a real personal. The casework is very close and it's not numbers. It's about that young person making it through to a safe place. 100%.
I know a lot of other organisations, their minimum is 30 clients per caseworker. And especially in this climate at the moment with asylum seekers and refugees, their caseload can be 60 people to one caseworker.
That's impossible.
It's insane. You can't, like, your duty of care is impossible, because you can't actually give everyone the service that they need. Which is a very, very lucky spot that we're in at Exodus. You know, we have our caseworkers and our youth workers, and to limit it to 10 people, to 10 clients per caseworker is really important, because we know that we can do everything we can to support these young people. No one will be falling through the cracks, you know, they're not just a number, like you said, and it becomes very, very personal to all of us. And it's great to watch someone from when they come in, and then they can say, hey, I don't need you as a service anymore, but then they still come back.
You can't get rid of them.
Exactly. You know, they'll engage in our programs, but it's such an amazing thing to see that fruition and to see someone from beginning to end.
And we do see a lot of giving back once they're through that difficult period and they're on their feet. The volunteering from that young person comes back to us and blesses us again and again. I'd like to explore the issue of paid staff. Now, in the early days, for many, many, many years, all of us were volunteer. It was when it was becoming a 24-hour, 7-day-a-week service that we had to start employing social workers and youth workers. With a load of 10 young people in your care, I know that even that is very demanding, and it's beyond the scope of a volunteer. Why?
A volunteer can only, I think, dedicate so much time. You know, we rely so heavily on volunteers at Exodus, but we also need to remember that they have other things happening outside of those volunteer hours, whether it's personal commitments, or they might actually be a part-time worker as well, or even full-time, but they are still volunteering their time to Exodus. And we need to remember that isn't enough of a scope to actually do the work that needs to happen. They all did very amazing things, and I know we have still volunteers at the moment dedicating their time.
That do amazing work.
And they do incredible work, and it's work that we can't go without either. But it's definitely not enough to just dedicate those few hours or few days a week.
Once a week.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know from my own experience that, you know, during the day you can be busy with one or two or a lot of paperwork that has to be done, but it's not till the evening that the work really kicks in. It's like at 10 p.m. you want to have, you know, you get this crisis that has to be dealt with. And so the shifts that we have now at Exodus go right up until about midnight and beyond, if need be.
Well, definitely being a social worker or being involved in a youth organisation in general, especially when you have the, that contact with clients, it almost becomes a 24-hour job.
Yeah.
Not almost, it is a 24-hour job.
It is.
You know, we all get our calls at, you know, 3 a.m. in the morning, or just within hours that we wouldn't expect a volunteer to take on board either.
No.
So that's definitely where the paid staff incentive, I guess, comes on. Yeah.
We might take a break. We've got a few interviews from some of the staff around. We'll take a tour of Exodus and interview and say hi to some of the staff, and then we'll come back. that's Exodus on any given day, I think.
Yeah, it's really great to see everyone's role and how they all interact with each other.
Yeah, so from downstairs to upstairs where operations, they all happen upstairs, the caseworkers.
Very nice link, I think, the between having clients downstairs and having staff upstairs. There's a very close connection that everyone has with each other and the way that everyone works with each other. So it's become a family.
And now that it's a huge family, yes, and we have, we have those evenings where we all eat together, because everyone takes for granted that they go home and they eat with their family. There are young people that can't do that, and so we've had to create that family as you speak, and it's over eating, over a meal, that the real person comes out. And I think it's by no coincidence whatsoever that Christ himself chose meals to engage with people.
Definitely. I think a lot of these young people don't have a family connection. A lot of them have left their homes, and Exodus has become their second home. Having, like you said, mealtime, and as coming from a Coptic Orthodox background, an Egyptian background even, food is the most important thing to our people. And it's such an amazing small thing that just brings everyone together. We always like on our Monday nights to have, before our Connect meeting, we'll always sit down together for a meal. And we always like bringing in home cooked meals, because nothing is better than tabich, and everyone knows that.
Actually, it's mulkhaya. Whenever we serve mulkhaya, people come from everywhere.
You can smell it out the street. People just walk in and say, I need to have this.
It's like home. And I remember one comment, we had a lovely volunteer, beautiful mulkhaya and roz and frach and all these things. And the young person who had not been at home for years said that this food had love in it, and she could smell home.
It's such a powerful and amazing thing for that person,
We don't take it for granted.
No, Well, that's the thing. You said we'd go home, and half the time I think we're so just worn out, we'd end up going home and eating whatever and not really thinking about it. But to actually sit down with someone and share that time is incredible. It's not, it becomes real for them. It becomes a home for them. We actually have a client at the moment living away from home. And I think she sat down with one of our staff members last night, cooked dinner with them, and she said, "This is it. This is home. This is what it feels like."
How lovely!
Yeah,
we're very blessed. We're blessed because we have people that provide the food. We're blessed because we have people to sit and eat and talk with. We're blessed because God works in amazing ways with the lives of young people. We could provide everything, and then there's no change. And it's Christ that works in the lives of those young people that, the outcome can be so magnificent when you see it. I mean, who would work anywhere else?
I mean, I didn't even fathom that I would end up working at Exodus. I was volunteering for so long, and now that I'm working here, I can't imagine working anywhere else. It's the people, it's the clients, it's the members.
It's the love.
Yeah,
community.
Exactly, it is. It's the love. It's the family that you end up creating.
Yeah. Did you read one of our young people that are not Coptic Orthodox, but they were brought into our service because they were homeless and they're living with us, and he wrote us a note saying that the guy staying with him, the Coptic guy staying with him in the group home, had become his best friend, and that young person had been in foster care all his life, and he said, he's my best friend, and I love the love that I get from this place. And that's a complete stranger.
And that's it. I love the love.
Yeah.
For a lot of these young people, they're being neglected from whether it's their family, whether it's their community, and to come into a space where that's just, it's second nature. Everyone comes in feeling welcomed. And at ease, and that's just such a powerful and amazing thing for someone to experience when they've gone through so much hardship in their life.
Yeah, God knows where he will take us from here, but currently now we have, through the Diocese of Sydney and His Grace Bishop Daniel, funding for a drug and alcohol counsellor, and of course, being a royal family, we are blessed with the best, with Iman El Dahabi there with us. We have a GP coming on board so that we don't have to have these long waits at the medical centres. Where to from here, I can't imagine.
I wouldn't even know either. Yeah. You know, looking at the history of Exodus and to where we are at the moment, it's just an absolute miracle. It's a godsend, you know, and the need, it keeps being reinforced that the need is there. You
Absolutely.
know, God is keeping our doors open. God is working with our hands and, you know, and making this a success. So definitely.
Thank you for joining us.
Thank you
yet
for having
again.
me.
And we'll see you again, and I'll see you at work.
Thank you.
Thank you for watching Exodus Youth Worx on CYC. I hope you've enjoyed the program, and we'll continue again soon.